This whole algorithm thing is such BS, by the way. They're going to find...
Well, I mean, it's not random.
Sarah,
it's not random.
Like, it's like, all of a sudden, like... It's like the grand prize game on the Bozo show or something.
There's only 3
weird.
people. There's only 3 people from Amazing Race, and they're going to put 2 out of 3 together.
Exactly.
And then the couple that broke up.
I mean, come on, guys. I'm not that dumb. Where it's just like, oh, this algorithm, we don't even know.
There's a producer.
I'm going to move the stone wall, and TJ, these lights are just going to come up, and TJ's going to go, who knew?
Like, producer Ben is the algorithm.
Well, saw those it's exactly it. There's going to have a drama here and there. So it's like, all right, I get it.
What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We just finished watching the Challenge USA episode 2 titled Oh, Say Can You See Tiffany? Or are we supposed to sing it? Oh, Say Can You See?
No.
No. It's an interesting title.
So let's see, 2.5, 3 months, we've gone nonstop, and then we take a break. You and I, happy to be back.
I am so happy to be back. Last week by myself was terrifying.
You were perfect. Don't say that.
Bless you.
Don't.
Bless you.
It's not easy to go solo, trust me. And I did say text to you. I'm like, well, producer Klinger should probably step in. He'd be great. But you're like, I think I can do this, and you did, and I think you did just fine. So don't.
Oh well, thank you.
But I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. We are best when we're together, for sure.
Okay. So let's recap real quick. We actually, out of all the things we've talked about, probably in the last hour and a half, 2 hours we've been around, we have not talked about the final episode of the Challenge All-Stars 3, which is weird. Do you realize that? In like the last 90 to 120 minutes, we have not talked
moved right on
at all about it. Do you want to, anything, what were your thoughts outside of what you said in your podcast? Anything when you're talking to me, like, what do you think about it?
West 1, whoop, 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 whoop. John A, whoop, 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 whoop.
Okay, and so remember what I said. I like, if John A wins, this is her season. It's all about her.
Absolutely.
Okay, so she wins the season.
Yes, and female Mount Rushmore. She's up there.
Yeah, it's just a weird one that came out of nowhere.
I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, and then the West one, I wish they would have done better editing. Like he was gonna, like from day one, I'm going to not win on purpose, or I'm gonna wink at the camera. Like
I wish they would have.
I wish they would have, and then that would have made that win so much better. But anyway. We're there, and then we have our 90-minute episode after Big Brothers, the CBS original, and I say that with so much anger, CBS, because this isn't USA Challenge. I get it, you made a never title, but CBS original, MTV The Challenge, you really can't call it a CBS original, but it's okay.
It's fine.
Here we are. We've got who, from what shows, whatnot.
We have, well, it started out with 28 contestants from 4 shows. Those shows being Love Island, Survivor, Big Brother, and Amazing Race. I'm not going to say I didn't want to like it, but I wasn't expecting to like it. And episode 1 drew me right in. I'm like, yep, in it, on it, for it. Let's go.
I think I'm in regardless. It just happens to be one person who just ties it all in perfectly every time, and that's the guy TJ, no matter what. So you're like, you're in TJ, I'm in. Is there anybody else in this world that you'd rather have a beer with besides TJ? And I know he doesn't drink, just an iced tea, sweetened or unsweetened, it doesn't matter. Lemon or no lemon,
not actually. TJ.
So TJ's in.
TJ sounds great.
I will say this though, I listened to a podcast. And TJ talked about this thing, and he said, Big Brother, Survivor, Love Island, Amazing Race, all these places where they come. He's like, never seen a more beautiful cast. And I have to disagree. I don't think that they're overwhelmingly good looking.
I think they are. I mean, they're good looking. I don't know that. Okay, I think I know where you're going with this. I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful cast. Like, there have been previous other casts of the Challenge that have been more attractive. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. He just like really, really tried to sell this. He's like, CBS does a good job about hiring people, and they are really good looking. And honestly, by first look, I'm like, okay. And I'm the first to point out, like, hey, that's a good looking dude, or that's a good looking lady. I honestly, I don't care either way. And it just kind of like, okay. And I kept watching even through tonight's challenge. I'm like,
Angela's beautiful. Tiffany's beautiful. Shannon's super cute.
Okay, let's break this all down. Why do they want to make Angela a villain in episode 1? They don't do anything tonight, okay? But it's like she really wasn't doing that. She was with the lifeguard or whatever else. And again,
they're still together.
Okay.
At least from her Insta. It looks
loyal
like
fans would know this
Tyler.
about me. Thank you. Loyal fans would know this about me, of our show. Listen, Big Brother, you're in, you're out in my life. I don't remember your name. I don't. I had to watch it. And like, I was watching last week. I was down in Nashville and we were watching the first episode. And I'm like, that lady, that Angela, she's with, and my daughter, who's 12, and had to be like 10 when she was on, or 9. She's like, she's with the lifeguard with the curly hair that straightened his head. I'm like, oh yeah. And you just said his name's Tyler.
Yeah.
See, that's how much I watched every season of Big Brother,
every single
episode except from season 2 on. So in 2001 was the first time I started watching.
You should probably go back to season 1 just to so that you can close it out. Like, I've watched every episode.
Maybe, but I just don't remember their names. Outside of Dr. Will was in season 2. Mm-hmm. That's all I remember.
Derek.
No, see, there's a lot of Dereks.
Wasn't the winner, right?
That's season 16. By the way, he's in my phone contacts. I just to throw that out there. I mean, just not to flex a little bit, but
I'm sorry. Did you drop something?
No, yeah, I will pull it up right now. He's my favorite winner of all time. Some people say,
he's so good, loved him.
Some people say season 16 actually ruined Big Brother because of alliances. I say it's one of my favorite seasons, but
that might be the first one I watched.
Okay. But like, again, I forget these names. Angela really wasn't a villain in that season. So much.
A villain, no. A lot of people on social media were saying, you forgot the part where you're famous for being in a showman. Okay. I do remember her from that season. I remember a lot about her. I remember her talking about gymnastics and pole vaulting, because I'm into athletics.
Sure.
And, obviously very beautiful. And of course there was the showmans. I will say this though, episode 1 did paint her not so great. And I think the reasoning for that is she's more composed than the average person on one of these shows. So it's very, and she doesn't laugh a lot and make little jokes all the time. So it's very easy to paint that person who won episode 1 as bad guy. You know what I mean?
No, I completely get what you're saying. And I do agree with that because she is not the type to be like, ha ha ha, whatever. I mean, you saw the episode where they're kind of around the weight room, kind of trying to figure things out. But yeah, she just takes everything in, and it's not like her feedback is overwhelming. She's like, yeah, and back to her and Tyler and the Big Brother season that they were on. Neither one of them wanted a showmans. They held out to the very end where they're like, all right, we like each other for sure. So, and I think that's just the way she keeps things guarded. And I think it kind of
guarded is a very good word.
And I think it comes off as maybe villain isn't the word, but I think they try to paint her.
I think what they're trying to paint is arrogance.
Okay.
Because she is so athletic, and she does say, I've done this, I even have done stunt training. So all of this kind of put me in this position to where I'd be really good at this. But because she says it kind of dryly, it's very easy for them to be like, villain.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
And I know going back even a week ago, last episode, but it was kind of like, I'm so happy I'm with Tyson. We're gonna do this and that. The whole time, I'm watching you guys are not going to be a team,
right? Because they're
going to do something.
We'd already
heard. Of course they did. They changed it up. And they're like, oh my goodness! Of course you can't just pick your teams. Come on, this is TJ's final, not yours. If you know anything at all.
Well, and I think that this is something that production learned from previous seasons of Challenge, where remember when Fessy and Esther were killing everybody in season 37, just this most recent one. They realized that wasn't going to work. So switching up the partners every week is more interesting.
Yeah. So going into this episode though, so you said episode 1, you're in. You're like, I like it. I like it. I'm good. I'm good with CBS. I'm good with Challenge USA.
James was amazing with his politicking. I was so incredibly impressed. I liked Tyson. There were people that I knew from Big Brother. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do this.
I know people from Big Brother. There's people there. Again, I'm like, okay, I think I remember them. Okay, I remember them. I remember what they're doing. I don't watch Survivor outside of season 1. That's the first one I ever watched. I don't watch The Amazing Race, and I don't watch Love Island. So to me, it's just like, okay, I see these people, but I'm like, I want to see where they're at with this game, the game that I know, the game that TJ's game, what they're going to do. And it's interesting how they incorporate their different games. They were right away, and I know we want to get into episode 2, and I think we should, but episode 1, they were right away kind of being like, we're going to go after the Love Island people, or we're going to go after Amazing Race because they're not
the alliances.
They're more strategic as us, and I get that, and I enjoyed that. I'm like, okay, I've got a direction where, as a viewer, where this is going and how alliances are going to go. So now I feel like I can be on episode 2, 3, and 4. So going into 2 tonight, he leaves us episode 1, this algorithm thing.
So
and we go into it.
Episode 1 ends with Kyland winning and his partner Azza. Is it Azza?
Azza.
And they get $2,000 each. TJ's like, "Oh, I got something for you," and Kyland goes full on Nelly. Yeah, like talking to TJ. I mean, the whole group is lined up, and Kyland's like, "TJ, what you doing?" I mean, I don't know what he said, but he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" You know, and I just got very defensive because I've been doing this with TJ for how many ever years, and I'm like, "You don't know him like that. You don't know him like that." 7
hours away, I was doing the exact same thing you're doing. When I watch this, I'm like, who does this guy think he is?
You can't do that.
You do not know TJ. Don't talk to him that way. And by the way, he did it twice. When he's like, "Oh, I know that shadow," right when they came in, and I'm like, "You don't know that shadow." And TJ, what are you doing? Like, no, you don't talk to him that way. Even
when you're a couple seasons in, you can start.
It took episode 13 or whatever else, where I finally was okay with Emmy calling him Uncle TJ. I'm not okay with you doing this, not at all. So here's the crazy thing.
Nothing against him, but I'm like, dude.
Here's the crazy thing. 0 edit in episode 2, outside of a lot of hugging, which is weird to me on top of it, because he's like, "Oh, we're not going to be partners anymore." He's like, "No, you're not going to be partners. And now you're going to be partners with, I think, Sarah." And he's like, "Come here, Sarah," and another big hug. And I'm like, he touches people way too much, Kyland, for me. I don't want to be partners with him. I like my proxemics. I don't want him invaded by people. But there's no edit at all. So there's nothing outside of him and his nonverbal touchiness. There's nothing going on really this episode.
Yeah, we didn't see anything with him this week.
So why does he get to go from hey, I'm going to be TJ's #1 fan, and I know everything that goes
you're
on
not Nelly.
To nothing. Yeah, he's not.
You don't get to do that.
But no one really does that takes over this episode. I mean, if you have to, and if we get into who wins the episode.
Because I do want to do our categories. Sure. I do want to do our win-loss and all that, and we will at the end. So,
but I'm so happy you say that about because I felt the exact same way. I'm like, who are you? Come on.
You don't get to talk to him like that.
You can talk to Julie Chen all you want to that way. You can say, "Hi, Julie," and the live eviction night, you look beautiful. Oh, expected, unexpected. But don't talk to TJ that way. Yeah, Kyland, it doesn't work for me. So. I have so many thoughts about all these Big Brother people, though, by the way.
All right, so so it's the algorithm. They switch partners every episode. You can't be with the same partner until you've gone all the way through, and then if it's at the end and there's not enough people, then you can't be with the same person twice in a row. Cool. So the new partners are Kyland and Sarah, Derek and Tasha, Kayla and James, Tyson and Justine, Leo and Angela, Xavier and Azza. Aja.
It's Azza.
Azza. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I keep getting it wrong.
Don't apologize. It's fine. I think I called Kyla 100 times. Don't worry about it. No,
Cashel and Tiffany, Enzo and Alyssa, Danny and Desi. I like both of them, by the way.
Okay.
Dominic and Shannon, Ben and Shan, Cinco and Cache, and David and Kyra.
This whole algorithm thing is such BS, by the way. They're going to find...
Well, I mean, it's not random.
Sarah,
it's not random.
It's all of a sudden, it's like the grand prize game on the Bozo show or something.
There's only 3
weird.
People. There's only 3 people from Amazing Race, and they're going to put 2 out of 3 together.
Exactly.
And then the couple that broke up.
I mean, come on, guys. I'm not that dumb. Where it's just this algorithm, we don't even know.
There's a producer.
I'm going to move the stone wall, and TJ, these lights are just going to come up, and TJ's going to go, who knew?
Producer Ben is the algorithm.
Yeah.
I saw those
it's exactly it. There's going to have a drama here and there. So it's like, all right, I get it. But yes, it's neat that because now you can't really rum some. But I do like where you have Tyson, you have Angela, and they're like, okay, we're not partners, but we can have each other's back.
Yes.
We can protect each other. And I do like that. There's
Love that.
smart things to do
Mm-hmm.
looking forward if you're thinking of the game. Now, let's talk about Tyson. I think he's putting way too much emphasis on winning early. Way too much. And it says in this episode tonight, he's like, I want to win back to back. And his partner.
What does he have now? So he had
11,000 or something.
11.
Like yeah.
So I mean,
but his partner, she's like, well, you just sent my friend. Like that's
I
part
thought
of the
that
game.
was ridiculous.
Like, it was
like we
way
just
over the
met.
top.
We
Yeah.
just met. I didn't like do it. Like yeah, that was a bit much.
Her best friend. Like you guys, I get it. You said you guys talk like once a day or once a week or whatever else, but you guys met on Love Island. Like relax.
I mean, I am of the belief that you can get very close to somebody in a short amount of time. But yeah, it wasn't like he was like super out against her for voting in somebody else.
And then she's like, oh, and then by the episode, she's like, he's Tyson. He could be a mentor for me, and he knows how to do strategy stuff. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. Your first blindside.
Oh my God, it was so good.
But I think
by the way, her jean jacket in the Elimination, did you see it?
No.
Oh my God, Justine's jean jacket was fantastic. So
I
it's
didn't
like
even know her.
It's like a light jean jacket and had like little pearls like up on it, like kind of like old school like Madonna or like it was just cool. I liked it.
Was it cool?
It was cool.
All right. I think he's putting too much emphasis on winning right away, and I think it's going to put a target on his back. And I just, but it's just.
I like him. It seems like he is a force to be reckoned with. I'm curious how this gameplay is going to go. Obviously winning is great. That's the only thing that's going to keep him safe. I think it's going to be really a slippery slope if he has a bad partner or a bad week, because I think it's going to be, he could potentially put himself as being an obvious choice to vote in, because you don't want those people that are that strong.
And you get their money if you do it.
In the final against
someone's calling you out.
Yeah.
Eventually someone's going to get wind of it and be like, not wind of it, they're going to lose. They're going to be like, I don't care. I think I can beat him. And hopefully my partner, I can piggyback my partner through this. And he's got a weak partner. I'm going to take their cash. Like, it's going to happen.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I'm foreshadowing. I'm calling my shot right now.
He's the richest man in the house right now.
He's not winning this thing. I'm calling it right now.
Okay. So if you're calling that, who do you think's winning for the men?
I do not know. I really don't. I don't see a strong person right now that I really, really enjoy. I do like, I will say Tyson's edits are great. I think he does a good job. But other than that, like, I don't know who I think is going to win this thing. And on both sides.
It's too early. Yeah.
Yeah, on both sides. It's just,
let's go back. Let's keep going through
the episode.
Let's
talk about James, though.
Okay, so, well, just James was great last episode. I find him amusing, entertaining, sweet. He's very smart. Very smart. I mean, should we go through the episode, or should we just talk about what happened in the challenge with him?
I'm just here to follow along. You do whatever you want to do here, and I'm with you.
Well, first, before we talk about that, I do have to say, so prior to the challenge today, there was just a little bit of like group strategizing, blah blah blah. These people talking, but Shan, who episode 1, I'm like, I love her. She's the pastor, but she's like, look, I'm still a real person. If I'm playing Uno, like I'm playing to win, and she like drops all the tea about Tiffany and Cinco and all that. And then they hit her with like the bulletin.
This has never been done before in the history of the challenge. It shocked me that they did this.
I know. I'm like, Jemmy needs that.
Yeah.
Jemmy needs that.
Like, they gave her the greatest edit right there. And they could do this every week, and it's worth it, that she just sits and she drops all the gossip at that and what looks like a table.
Oh my
and she's
God,
not really
so
a table, because the editing, like, you can still kind of see like, all right. But I've never seen this in the challenge before.
No, never.
And I was like, this is awesome. Good for them that
sometimes
they
we'll put something over her shoulder, like Corey. But yeah,
I wish they would do. Yeah,
but that was so good.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
And love her. Love that they gave her that. That to me says she's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And I'm not mad at it. I like her. We go into the challenge. It's called Yeah Boy.
Okay.
Like Flava Flav, but it's like Buoy, but boy.
Yeah.
They have to run to the water, climb up a ladder, jump to a buoy that has tires all around it, and kind of mingled within the tires are letters.
Yeah.
Grab as many letters as you can, jump down, swim back, put your letters up, and just try to make words. They've all got to connect, kind of like a crossword, Scrabble, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. And you have 20 minutes. Try to make the most words.
Enjoy it.
I liked it.
I would have done
This is what I would do, for sure. At first I was kind of like, oh, and then when I saw the distance, it really wasn't that, it didn't seem that crazy to me.
Yeah.
I think the scariest part would be just like the jumping onto it, like making sure you grabbed a hold of something appropriately, because the buoys were spinning.
Yeah. Okay. This is one of those that would have been on the earliest seasons of the challenge, like back when they were like rubbing ice cubes with their butts to get things. This one, and TJ's like, and did I mention they'll be spinning? And I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, really, this is not that big of a deal.
Okay, there was one similar to this, but they didn't have to jump up. Remember, they were in swimsuits, and they had to, there was a stencil of a letter, and they picked letters, like, and they spray painted them on them, and they had to like jump up and like make words out of their bodies. And whoever got like, which it was like men versus women.
Okay. No, I don't remember.
So similar. So it's like making that a little more cool.
The thing is, there was one group, and you might know better than me, and I think it might have been Tyson's group. What does stop from me just handing you letters and keep going up there, up and swimming or whatever else? Like, it seemed like they were going in pairs, but then Tyson's
wondered,
group, she was like, I need vowels, and it was Tyson's group.
Yeah.
She's like, I need vowels, Tyson. Like, what would change that? I mean, if I was like, vice versa, if you're like, hey, I'm a strong swimmer and I can climb, I'm like, okay, I can spell. And you're like, I'll just keep going.
That's
like,
exactly.
Perfect. Like,
why did nobody else figure that out?
Because
I thought that too, because every other group except for them, from what we saw, they were both kind of going back and forth, and just whoever gets there gets there.
And again, those listening to the show, everything else, the fans of the show, you'll know that we know that they will spend a lot of times asking TJ questions.
Right.
So
before.
like, can we, because you saw like, when Cinco was on there, and what's her name? Cachet?
Cinco and Cachet.
Okay. And he's like, you got this. I need you to drop. I need you to drop. Well, never in the beginning does TJ say, only one can be on at a time. Do you know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that maybe the behind the scenes, like, hey, only one can be on at a time.
Probably.
Or this and that. So we don't really know.
There were only 2 ladders. So like,
you can climb up the ladder. They were right up,
right.
Up
but like,
butts.
it seemed like the women were on one side and the men were on the other. So like, when we saw like Angela going, and then someone was behind, like you.
No, but when James fell, and let's talk about that. When James there, they were right at the ladder, and Cinco and Cachet, he was right there. Like, I need you to drop. I need you right now. And she's like, that's what got her going. She's like, he said he needed me. Okay. He might be a little love interest thing. And she's like, oh, he needed me. And he didn't really. He needs you to drop.
Well, she was nervous, and he encouraged her, yes.
But I mean, that's the thing. It just seemed like the Tyson group, it was like, give me vowels. He's like, all right, I'm going to go swim again. I'm going to climb up this. No problem at all.
Oh.
So what I'm saying, you can only grab 5 letters at a time at the most.
Okay.
So get as many as you can. But I mean, they even say, like, you watch that episode and everyone's like, Tyson is just killing it. Like, everybody, male, female competitors, like, this guy is something else. Like, he's in that water, like, he's running across it. Like,
well, I love how he said, he's like, he's just breathing through his nose, like acting like he's not like tired.
Did you love that?
I did. Don't you ever do that? You ever do that where like you get a little winded on something that's like should not get you winded?
I was like 8. I did something like that. I was like,
on something like in real life now, like you get winded on something that probably shouldn't have gotten you winded, and you're just like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm
sure. It's an old bike racing trick. When you pass someone, you just kind of don't do it in your way. Like, okay, good bike racing, Tour de France, Tyson, whatever.
We don't know his life.
Well, he's a bike racer, obviously, because he said that's an old bike racing.
Super pickleball, I did see on his social media.
Don't try to make me like
we love
Tyson
pickleball
because I like pickleball. Don't. You're trying. I know what you're doing. I don't appreciate your rouge. You're trying to get me like, oh, I'm going to drop things that you like, Jay. Your keywords like, jeez, I'm not doing that.
You know what's funny is I didn't even know I was doing it. Like, but anyway, It's an interesting strategy. It's an interesting strategy to make people a little bit afraid of you.
I agree. And I do think he's playing the game a great way. I will say that don't put too much focus on the first 2 weeks or whatever else, winning right away.
And maybe that is, and we don't watch Survivor. Maybe that is something that's extremely important in Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so maybe that's just has to do with the strategy of the show he's from.
Yeah, and even going back to how we started this show, going back to Challenge All Stars, if we would have had a different narrative of Wes, it would be more like, that's awesome, the game he played. And maybe Wes's game, like, you can be just fine right in the top third. You don't have to win every time. Tyson wants to win every time. He wants to establish his dominance.
The fact that they started, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
The fact that they started episode 1 with him, like him and his confessional right away. I'm like, this guy, like he's potentially like adjacent to their Wes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You know, so I have my eye on him. I'm curious what happens.
I think they lost a very good social form of the game in this episode, though, and we'll talk more about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have one more, there's 2 things in regards to this. So, you know, everybody goes, nobody DQs. Obviously.
What? They didn't form a letter.
Oh,
they didn't form
I guess
word.
they didn't. Okay. All right. There was a team that got 0. I didn't mean I meant like DQs, like, I'm not going to do it.
Still mad about this. How is it that when someone falls from a ladder, automatically I know they're going to say my butt hurts? Why on reality shows is always that hurt my butt?
Or face.
That one I like. I want to see a bloody nose or whatever else, but I don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, my butt. I said, we were talking about this. And again, guys, we talk about this stuff. Not just on a podcast. I've gone off a cliff.
James and Kyland.
I have not been off a cliff in Jamaica, but I've been off a cliff. I've gone off a high dive. I've fallen. I've been pushed off of things or whatever else.
No,
it's all right. I'm not. I don't feel like I was bullied, but I never like came up, gasped for air, and was like, "Oh, my butt hurts." Like never once. Never once. I may have been like, I think I'm concussed, but no one knows what a 12-year-old is.
Head.
Yeah, like you're 12. You don't know if you're concussed. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's all right. No,
I don't know. I was like conscious for a little.
I mean, I've been tossed like from the back of a boat and an inflatable, you know, like and my friend was going round and round in a circle, and then he cut across the wake. And I was so high in the air that I was spinning, and I was like, I should hit the water soon. And I'm like, why am I not hitting the water soon? So I was pretty high. Pretty sure I was concussed then. But I didn't come up.
That's terrifying. That's so scary.
I didn't come up and gasping, being like, oh, my butt hurts. So, and it can't be that
just
bad.
How you
no, it can't be that bad because he did like a Peloton, like Hot Works thing the very next day. So butt didn't hurt that bad. He should have completed the entire challenge. He is disqualified.
Okay. Yeah, because if it was his butt, then you could say that was his coccyx, that's the muscle, or that's the bone, your tailbone.
You're talking way too smart for me.
I just really like saying that word,
okay,
coccyx,
word, yeah.
right?
It was a good word, yeah.
But if that was in fact broken, then obviously the spin cycle situation, he would have had to have been standing the whole time. It wouldn't.
The beauty of it is if he broke his ass, he can talk out of his ass. That's what makes James so good. He broke it, but he can talk out of it. He is so good about politicking.
So good.
Like you saw in episode 1 and you saw in episode 2. He is that good. He could be here. I'm telling you, we were both cheering for different people in this final.
Yes. Or in this arena.
James can go far.
Yes.
He can talk his way out of
everything. Yeah, he's so good.
He knows
so
how to play this game. He knows how to play this game.
I am a huge fan. I didn't know him. And then like by the end of episode 1, I'm like, I love this guy. I love this guy.
I was not cheering for him in the arena. I was not a fan of him in episode 1. And I think right now I just talked myself into being a fan of him. So, because
as you were talking about his butt.
Yeah. Because I do think he's that good. He knows how to talk to the right people. Yes. He's got that CT to him. Like, well, I didn't say their name, but I said their name.
It's more than that. I don't even know who to compare him to. He's just so probably like a bananas, realistically.
I think it's different. I think it's more like I'm still gonna play this like a fan instead of like I'm gonna just survive week to week. He just knows how to talk the right way. Do you know what I'm saying? I guess I don't know if I'm saying survive week to week because it seems like the picture that they're painting of him is he's going to politic his way out of week to week. But I think he just knows at the right time to talk to the right people and be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And they're like, yeah, absolutely.
And he does. He just always has really good ideas. He's playing chess. He's steps ahead.
Yeah. And they obviously like him. In the arena, they're cheering for him and everything else. Now, as far as like some of the others, and I do want to talk about Cachet and Tiffany and the female side of it, because I don't know if their game is
Before that,
right.
I do want to say, just because I just love it so much, Danny, how he always mentions his wife Kiki.
Okay, yeah.
I just love it. I love it so much. Every time Danny has an interview, it's not every time, but I like it. He's like, so my wife Kiki.
It's every time.
I love it. I love it.
It's clearly every time, Sarah.
My wife Kiki.
Yeah, it's nice. I like Danny. He seems like a good competitor.
The NFL. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
seems like a nice guy, and he loves his wife Kiki.
It's gonna about episode 4.
I love his wife Kiki now at this point.
She should probably have a Twitter handle by now. Yeah, Danny's wife Kiki. But by episode 4, I'm gonna probably be like, I've had enough of this. But yeah, I don't know if it's every time Kiki says I can't come home without the money. Kiki says it's not. Yeah,
I think it's cute.
It is nice. It really is. So it's great to have a personality that's not even on the show. So
right.
Yeah. So it's good
and it's endearing. Sure. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but it makes me like him a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously Tyson and Justine win, and then James and Kayla, they're going in the elimination because they got zero. They got 0.
Yeah.
I originally had thought that he'd fallen like on his rib because the way he was screaming, and then he said his butt.
Well, Derek says he's like blood curdling scream, like a ghost left his body or whatever else. Like that's how bad it was. Anyway, he just said like my butt. Okay, whatever. Yeah. So it's not it was kind of weird. You and I talked about it. I'm like, this isn't that tough.
It wasn't.
It's Scrabble. It's not, Wheel of Fortune type of way. But hey, you spell as many letters, and Tyson kills it. It's good. What was the one I told you? Did someone spell the word "ud"?
Right.
Like, and no one. And
there was like Kira or something or Kyra. Like somebody put like a name instead of a word.
Yeah.
You can't. Oh, that's right. It was named for another contestant.
Yeah. So there's just some dumb things, and I can't believe like TJ didn't bring that up. But oh well.
So they get back to the house. Tyson and Justine are in that room where they have all the teams posted up, kind of like on it's like a movie board.
Sure.
And they're talking to James and Kayla because they were the bottom team. Who do you want? This is
where James shines.
James just shines.
I just took your word. Yeah.
It's all good.
But yeah. Because we both looked at each other like, this guy's good.
Oh, it was so good. Because it seemed so like he was just prepared, like when you wouldn't think somebody would be that prepared.
Yeah, because he's like, all right, we're from the Amazing Race. We get this. Big Brother, Survivor, you guys have a strong connection, but how strong is it? Is what he's asking. He's like, where can we get into this Big Brother thing? And they're like, I don't really have that big of a deal with Big Brother whatsoever.
Like,
and like
Tiffany's the Big Brother glue.
Yeah. And she really is. And so I thought that's when you and I started talking. We're like, dude, this guy, he gets the politics. He knows how to. He may not be able to do the challenges, but he will take care of it. So that the challenge, let's just say, if that's 4 hours out of their day, the other 20 hours, this guy's killing it in this game. So
it's just incredible. Then there's Cinco carrying Tiffany to her bed. Cachet, obviously that's her ex. She's then kind of talking about Tiffany to a friend. That's very obvious that there's more people that are thinking about Tiffany as well.
Yeah.
For going into the elimination.
So she's hanging out with Cinco, but she's got her partner. What's his name? Starts to see. Is he another Cachet? It's not Cachet, but Cashel. He's from Love Island.
Oh, and that was.
But the thing is this. Tiffany, and you said like the glue to the Big Brother, she just has that personality. She was really the person who started the cookout last season. And it's not in a bad way. It's not a personality like she's overwhelming. She just, if she gets someone, if she connects with them, she's pretty loyal to him and she'll do whatever she can for him. If she doesn't have a connection with him, she doesn't care. She moves on.
And I like her.
Yeah.
I've always found her to be, she draws you in. She draws you
Yeah.
in. And she's likable.
Yeah.
So for him to bring this up, I was like, I was surprised. I was very surprised. But once he said it, I was like, she is the glue. He's absolutely right.
Yeah. And so Cachet, obviously, used to have a thing with Cinco. She doesn't really like it. And she's kind of talking. And Alyssa still is a little bit butthurt from kind of being on the outside of, and she brings it up again. Imagine being 6 weeks with your best friend and he's lying to you the entire time. Well, it wasn't Xavier. It was Tiffany that was behind the whole thing. If you watch that episode back. So Alyssa's fine with Tiffany going back. She's going to get back. And she even said episode 1, I'm getting back at the cookout.
Well, and she came, like, there's a scene where she's talking to Alyssa is, and she's like, you gotta help me out here. Like, come on.
He's not going to help her out.
But it seems like he did if Tiffany went in.
He's not helping anyone out but himself. He even says to Tyson, when Tyson's like, if I throw in Tiffany, you're going to help me damage control? He's like, absolutely. Xavier's not helping anyone but himself. Even though the cookout was 6 people strong, it was all about him in the end. He would have taken anybody that he needed to the final. And that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say like, oh, Xavier's a bad person. He has his eyes on the prize.
Right.
He's thinking 3 steps ahead, which is fine. And that's someone you need to watch out for in this game as well. He may lay low, but he's waiting. He's waiting for someone like Tyson to have like their bank account to be 11,000, 21,000, 31,000. Be like, now I'm going in the arena to take his money.
You're right.
Don't get me wrong. Watch. He's smart. He's a lawyer. He's very well trained. He was
very attractive.
But I think he told the people in the Big Brother house he was just a bartender. And
something like that.
He held out fine. But like, he has no loyalty but to himself. And there's nothing wrong with that. So does Wes, so does Bananas, so does CT, so go down the list. So he's going to be fine. And I guess if you're asking me, do I think Xavier can win this game? I'm going to put him in the top 3. I don't want him to win, but again, going to this episode,
I think he's in my fantasy league. Yeah, he's in my fantasy league.
The thing with this whole thing with Tiffany, she's painted wrong by these other contestants that she's intimidated by good-looking females. She's not.
Yeah, I didn't love that, but here's the deal. Like, what I took from that conversation was this is my ex and I'm blowing off some steam talking about this person because it makes me feel better at the moment. Like, I don't think she like really means it. I don't think it's just, you know what I mean? I don't think that was anything more than that.
I'm just saying in general, as the pot starts to boil, and Tyson's trying to figure out who he's going to nominate, I think the talk was more and more about Tiffany. Well, Tiffany's name's brought up. Tiffany, and it's a classic CT. I didn't bring her name up, but her name's out there.
Well, and then Tyson talks to Tiffany.
Yeah.
And Tiffany's like, oh, yeah, probably best bet would be Enzo and Alyssa. Like, she just like straight up said another Big Brother girl.
Sure.
You know, but she was like, I don't want it to be a Big Brother person, but if it was.
Alyssa wasn't in the cookout. She was upon the entire time. Enzo, don't care about him. He was on 2 times on the show. He's an all-star. He doesn't really bring much to the table. I'm fine with Tiffany saying you can nominate those people. And he's like, you're not going to be mad at me about Big Brother? She's like, no, not at all. And he's like, I got your back. You got mine. She's like, I got your back. She's like, I feel you. He's like, okay. And then he flips.
I was so shocked. So shocked.
So was she.
I thought it was going to be Alyssa and Enzo at that point.
Yeah.
For sure. So we go into the arena, and it's James and Kayla, they say, versus Tiffany and Cashel. Cashel.
And Tyson's like, well, TJ's like, what's going on? And Tiffany's like, I don't know. I'm surprised. Cashel's like, I'm surprised too. And then Tyson, to give the confession, he's like, yeah, Tiffany, you were cool for about 30 minutes, which was great. It was a great ending. Like Tyson, chef's kiss. You are great for the show. This is what this show needs. We need this stuff. And he's just like, yeah, you were good for about 30 minutes. Yeah, they did have a deal. And so that's the way it should be.
Well, and good recognizes good. Like, he saw her and he was like, she is going to be a threat to my game. Period.
The weird thing about it is the variable in this is actually more casual, because you're looking at it, all the players, and if you kind of look at if you listen to their conversations, Cashel is from Love Island, but they were like, Tiffany's bringing him to the Big Brother Alliance. That's another number. And Tyson's like, that is another number that we don't have. We need to make sure the Survivor side. So Cashel is a variable here. It's not so much Tiffany.
He was a swing vote.
Yes.
Essentially.
Because they come back in, he's going Big Brother. And he even said, Cashel said, he's like, I don't have any, these Love Island people are all turning against me. He's like, I have no way to go with this. So but,
yeah. Tyson says to Justine, your first blindside. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. So she goes from hating him for best friend to like, now she wants to be
aligned with him, of course. I mean, the arena is called Knowledge is Power. It's 4 spin bikes. You got to pedal until the second light lights up. A pattern appears. There's 2 rows of different symbols. You have to put it together, and then you got to do this 2 more times. This has to happen 3 times.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand. Maybe there was more instructions as far as like, did you have to be within a certain RPM? Did you have to go a certain distance? I didn't know, because it's like I could pedal with like nothing like on my resistance.
So
you know what I mean?
Your questions are all fair,
but they don't apply at all.
The average person who is now watching this show for the first time, the CBS original, there's no answer to that person who goes, do they have to pedal to mile 2? Well, I don't know. Do you have to get to so many RPMs? I don't know. Well, why don't you know? Because TJ never explained it.
I know. I would have.
The average person. So that's the thing. Because what you want is, there's so many times I shouldn't say so many times, consistently every episode we're like, would you want to do this challenge or would you not? Yes or no? This one you're like, I could do that. I could pedal faster.
I
Tiffany.
love me some spin class.
And then, but we don't know the end all in a certain amount of time.
Is it faster? Is it distance? Is it
just some guy in a control truck that's like, I really like him now? That's the thing, we don't know. And you have to think about the average person who's just now watching the show, because now it's on CBS for the first time. It's not on MTV. It's not on Paramount Plus. It's not whatever else. This is on CBS. Brand new. Mm-hmm. You're trying to get
Episode
them after
2.
a big, and you don't know the end goal of whatever else, because that's what you want. You want to be able to be like, oh, I could do that. Absolutely. All, and so we don't know what got to that level, that light. And then the other thing, you have 6 on the top, 6 on the bottom. I think it was Kayla. She's like,
couldn't be a mile, because a mile on a spin bike, that's like so fast.
I don't know. I don't do a stationary bike. I'm just saying, like, we don't know what it is. Like how many RPM?
It felt really fast. Like I would do like a 45-minute class and I would get like 16 miles.
I don't know. Tiffany looked like she was struggling the entire time.
Right. I don't understand that either.
Yeah.
I don't think she's. I was concerned.
I
didn't understand
Kayla's
it.
thing. She was like, all right, I started putting a story together.
Oh my God, that was so cute.
I need a power cord. Like,
got to charge my phone.
That was great. I couldn't have done it. I mean, I'm staring at it. I'm sure you were too. Like, I can memorize this.
I'm terrible at that kind of stuff.
And going back to like when we were,
if it was something I would like I know, like a letter, a number.
Sure.
But the weird symbols that you don't see every day.
I was not there at all. Like when going back 3 episodes ago or whatever, the challenge where they're in the helicopter and they have to look at that, and I'm like, okay, green, orange, blue, blah blah blah, and there were 9. I could do that. Okay, basically make a Roy G. Biv.
Right.
This one I was like, no, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue. And it was
to be responsible for the top, like essentially like you're the top row, I'm the bottom row, like.
That would have been a good, I guess that would be. There were 6. So there were 6 and 6.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that you just brought up, because it would be like, hey, you get the top, I get the bottom part. You know, like you remember that. But I don't think I would have been very good. It didn't seem like it was up there long.
No.
And I did not think
5 seconds.
James and Kayla were going to win it all. I thought they were going to mess up. Usually I'm big on the editing, and I'm like, oh no. I've seen this before. He's going to go, nope, that's not it. And Tiffany was going to come in and Cashel and come and sneak the victory away, but they didn't. I don't know what that does for the house or whatever. James and Kayla obviously had the house on their side. They were cheering them on.
For sure.
And don't get me wrong, I truly did like James and Kayla, because it looked like even they were pedaling in the same.
It was such teamwork.
They're synchronized.
They're from the same show.
They were synchronized. Like they're pedaling, and they both, and knees are their right legs up, their left legs down. They're
great. Yeah.
The same thing, and they're getting it together. So,
and to me, they were the underdogs. They lost. Everybody's kind of like, oh, whatever about Amazing Race. It was exciting. And as much as I love Tiffany, and I mean, Cashel seems cool. Seems like he kind of got robbed. He was like really going.
Yeah.
But that goes more to like, I don't understand how that like whole thing
I do
works.
think this win is going to help out for James and Kayla because I think with the algorithm, they're going to other places and people are going to be like, we don't want to throw them in. We really like them. Like,
True.
People are going to, I think, like for the next one, at least I think they're free
safe
for the next
for probably
one.
like
Unless
2.
they lose.
They're probably safe for like 2.
Yeah. Unless they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, people aren't going to pick them out because I just think I think they are a house favorite right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think realistically, the next elimination is probably going to be physical. So we had the Knot Me Up.
Yeah.
So the next one's going to be like a headbanger.
Like a pole wrestling thing or something like that. Yeah, I agree with that. Or you're going to stand on a, have a rope and try to knock them off of that. Yeah.
Something more physical. I hope we just like can get rid of Hall Brawl, but it looks like Hall Brawl is going to be in it.
He said, TJ
from the
said
preview,
that everything, your staples, like as far as pole wrestling, Hall Brawl, and I can't remember whatever, trivia, those are all coming back. But I don't want Hall Brawl. I hate it too. But he said, someone said, like, are we going to get this? And he's like, yes, all your favorites are, which is not my favorite.
I love the one where they got to wrestle and then they got to like shoot the ball American Gladiator style.
Like that one too.
Oh, what's that one called?
I like your description better. They shoot the ball American Gladiator style. And tonight we're playing shoot the ball, wrestle or shoot the ball American Gladiator style. And TJ's like
Final Alliance.
Yeah. And you're gonna get $5,000 towards my final. But it's interesting. Tonight I thought the episode was more like a CBS type of show.
Kind of a filler. It didn't like come at us like episode 1. Like episode 1 was like popping. Like I got super excited. Yeah. This one was kind of, it was still good, but it wasn't as good as the last one.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot. I know you said you're in, producer Klinger said he's in, and I'm just like, well, I don't know yet about this. I don't know where we're at for these things. Because the Big Brother, I know these guys, but I don't know the other ones so much. But obviously, you can tell in my voice and my excitement about things. Like I'm getting on board with these participants, these players. I like James Tyson. I think he's coming out of the gate strong, but I think he's a force to be reckoned with. I really
absolutely.
Do. And
it's almost like a Jordan.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's like a cross between. Honestly, he's a cross between Jordan and Kyle. Yeah.
No.
What?
I need more funny
out of Jordan
for that.
Yeah, well, Jordan's very serious, and that's where you get from. But he looks like Kyle, and you wouldn't expect him to be a competitor, have that endurance, but he has the endurance like Kyle.
Okay, I got it.
So, like, he doesn't have the... Jordan's like, I'm here to beat you.
I just got, like, so offended. I was like...
For what?
I don't know. I just love Kyle, and I miss him.
But Kyle will smoke a 20 heaters of Pall Malls and turn around and run a half marathon. And you're like, where did this come from? And he's like, I just ran. And like, what do you mean you just ran? You just did this. And that's exactly what this guy does. He's a long-haired guy. He's like, I just bike.
No,
and you're like,
I think
wait, what do you mean you bike? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I
think he really like does like exercise a lot. I think it's like his life is exercise.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing.
What, exercise isn't a bad thing?
No,
Sarah, that's the hottest take in the world. Seriously? He's a string bean. It's not like he's full of muscle or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, don't get me wrong.
I just mean like as far as the comparison to Kyle. That's all I meant.
Kyle has no muscle on him at all.
Have you seen him?
Any muscle he's had in his life has been manufactured by a doctor. I guarantee you he has calf implants too. Kyle does not have muscles. Do not lie to yourself and these people, these good people, to sit there and say like Kyle has muscles on his body. Right now, Kyle has Sharpie 6-pack drawn on him right now.
Get out of here! I'm not going to
do not pull up an Instagram. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look at your phone.
I'm
telling you right now that is a Sharpie written on him and calf implants. Anyway, Kyle is a great competitor, and that's where I got Tyson at right now.
All right, cool.
Okay.
All right. If you
don't say okay.
No,
cool.
I just mean okay. If you're gonna say that they're Tyson's a great competitor, and so is Kyle. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, he's going to be in the top 3. So Kyle's always in the top 3. He's never going to be a finalist. Tyson's not going to be a finalist. I already called my shot.
Remember when he was never gets it, Kyle?
Yeah. Jeez, man,
All right,
you get
I'm
so
sorry.
defensive about him.
I just, I
didn't know there's such a sore spot for you.
I did have this. Okay, this is a completely random take that I had in the last.
I hope it's as good
24
as
hours.
That athleticism is exercise is good for the body. Yeah, I hope it's as good as that take. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that this was filmed in Argentina, right?
Okay.
Where 38 is being filmed is, I believe, in Argentina as well. I think they're using the same place. Okay, because it's, like TJ walks by and like pets the dog every day or whatever. The people who win this season get to go against all the other countries or whatever for the challenge.
Okay.
What if challenge flagship also gets to compete against all those other people?
They're going to
in the final. It is?
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, they'll put they're going to put together a big thing. Yeah,
with like challenge proper.
Yeah. Yep. Not you mean like MTV, like
yes, like all the different like USA and all the different countries.
I
then
feel very
proper.
confident that TJ said that challenge USA, challenge whatever else when they start doing it.
Right,
like there's going to be one big thing. Yeah,
the Wizard Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a Harry Potter thing.
Okay.
But then what if
Stop laughing because I'm annoyed about the Wizard Cup thing. Anyway, what if they bring it on? I think that's what they want. I guarantee you that's what Bananas wants.
But like if in addition to like they like the winners of Challenge 38 get to compete against all the other winners. That's my point.
It's a no-brainer. It's a
a
wash.
I hope so.
They'll destroy him. But I do think that CBS wants to. I think what TJ has said, they all want to have one big like championship at the end when you win it. So I gotta go back to this. The Challenge USA is filmed in Argentina.
Yeah,
we're okay with this.
I don't know where else I don't know. People talked about it on Twitter. It's
what do you mean they talked about? What did they say?
Someone said that. They're like, where else did you think they were gonna film? I don't know. Whatever.
Colorado. I don't know. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Portland, Oregon. You want me to keep going? Name cities, random cities that I'd be fine with.
Andalusia, Illinois.
It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, great ski slopes there. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, but I do, like you said, I do think they want to have one big thing coming together. I
just hope that my point is, and I think I've said it, and I think you get it, is I want it to at the very end then have like challenge MTV people to be able to be against all the other winners. That's my point.
How do you do that though?
If the winners of 38,
how do you have the top 2 that win? For all these other, and who do you put for your top 2, male and female, for challenge?
If you do from Challenge 38, that's filming right now.
Okay.
So if those 2 winners then go against all the other 2 winners, because doesn't that seem fair at that point? Because it's like this is an offshoot from Challenge MTV.
Yeah,
that would be the right thing to do, because otherwise, we've been talking about this, how anyone who'd ever been on Challenge MTV was not allowed to be on Challenge CBS.
Yeah.
That would explain the why to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but it's just
I know
you're losing out on so many personalities and what you can bring back. And what I think you would do is I think you would take maybe 8 different seasons. Let's say there's Brazil, Spain, what you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you have 16 winners there, and you take 16 from the other side, from the MTV, and then you do it. And
right.
that type of thing. Because I just
don't. Instead of just like how they're doing, like,
yeah. I just think you take
ride or die.
I think you just have 8 different shows, and you have 16 and then 16, because
I just wish that they were allowed to be included. That's all.
No, of course, and they want to be too. All right, they really do. I know Bananas does, everything else. CT West, they all want to be. They've all come out and said they want to be. They don't understand this, but there's not 2 personalities that are representative of the original challenge MTV. And that's why I think you need to have 16 and 16. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want to have a Cara Marie. I want to have other people out there that
a Laurel.
Yeah, Laurel. It just to throw it out there, because for how many years they've been doing it, you two just don't do it. We can't even name a Mount Rushmore of this. So 2 is not representative. It's like, that's not really, that's not our brand. And I'm sorry to say it, but I mean, that's the way I feel. I feel like we'd be like, that's not our brand. But we'll see where this goes with this. We'll see. We need to pay attention on how this is going for CBS, how ratings are going, if people are paying attention.
I think people are. I think there's a lot of people that watch Big Brother, and there's a lot to be said about people that are still watching. It's still on the TV, and they're like, oh, I'll see what this is.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't know if like...
I've even had it like on just like friends of mine that reached out because they're like, oh my God, the challenge. That's the show you do the podcast about. And I'm like, well, yeah, but
it's the 5th major sport in America. Yeah.
But like they only know it now all of a sudden because they watched Big Brother and it was on after Big Brother. Yeah. So I mean you have to, there is something to be said about a larger network.
No, of course. Yeah. So we started this and we talked a little bit about it. And you're like, we're gonna do it. Are we gonna do our categories? Are we gonna do like renaming it? Are we gonna talk about like what would bananas do?
Who won the episode?
Tyson wins the episode.
Absolutely, hands down. Tyson won it. I think lost Tiffany. That would be the easy route to go.
That's the easy route to go. To me, I do think it's going to be Cachet. I don't appreciate what she did, Tiffany. I think it was like she put Tiffany in a negative side. But then again, like I actually, for the average viewer, I can see it. But like I said, when you're watching 90 days or 3 episodes a week, and you see someone, I don't think Tiffany is the way that she's painted in this episode at all. Not one bit.
No.
So
you're right. Yeah, I think she did kind of get like a bad edit in regards to Cachet.
Yeah, but I think Tyson wins this episode. I think
hands down.
Who redeemed this episode was James. From doing that, and then what he can do with this 2 episodes in a row of being able to politic is awesome. Good for him.
Cringeworthy moment would have to be him falling on his butt.
Yeah, his butt. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be it. There's not too much in there.
What would bananas do?
What would bananas do? Well, there's not. You don't see there. What we're losing here in this episode, for those who are new to the CBS challenge and new to this podcast, what we're losing is the bar, the night out, the thing, whatever.
Well, there was one last week.
Yes,
we just didn't get it this
week. So we're not, and that's usually where a lot of things get mixed up.
Yes.
There's going to be some that don't drink because they're worried about going in, and some that do and they get loose lip. Gosh, would bananas be great with the Shan News thing if they do that for him?
Oh my god!
Because remember how much we love Corey when he's like, "Tee it up." This and that was great. The Shan News. Actually, Shan might win the episode too, by the way.
For real.
Editing might win the episode for just that small moment. Don't stop this
editing,
by the way. Do not stop it. But I think that's bananas. What would bananas do? He would run with this if he knew that they were going to make an edit. Oh my god!
And you know he would be. He'd be like, listening.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that'd be it. I don't like any of these episode names, by the way.
Yeah, they're going like America, which is cool. But say, can you see Tiffany? Not into it.
No one would say that. No one would be like, at 0 point during the show where you're like, oh, that makes sense for a title. Okay, say, can you see Tiffany? I get it's Challenge USA, but there's other things you can do, I guess, besides of trying to make it theme that. It's a terrible name. I don't know. I think I broke my butt would be a better title for this episode than that. But oh wow. Yeah. I think we lost a very, very strong personality in Tiffany in this episode.
And she's a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
As far as in the interview. So that is going to be a change.
Tiffany is a, you know what, you brought up someone earlier. Now I want to bring up someone else. Tiffany is an Anissa.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how producers think.
Yep.
She knows what's good television, and she knows what's going to go out there and what angles to use.
Yes.
Anissa's the exact same way. We've always said, hey, Anissa, if you're ever done with the challenge, You should be on production side because you know how to tell good television. Tiffany is the same way, and that's when I say we lost someone who can make a good episode.
Absolutely.
Period.
I agree.
And that's why I was cheering so hard for her.
What else you got for me?
Not much. We get to do this every Wednesday, which is great. Yeah, I'm gonna get
curious to see what we're gonna see. Only time will tell.
I think another category that we need to add would be like CBS versus MTV.
Ooh.
What did we see differently that CBS is doing that MTV would do? Because
I got one thing right now.
Okay,
less music.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a bummer.
They did such a great job on Paramount Plus when they had that and the music theme.
Incredible.
And I think there was like one song that I picked up on.
I didn't even really notice.
And I don't even know if it's like background, like stock.
Right.
Like you remember when you helped me with stuff, Klinger, like stuff, and you're like, I got stock music. And it's like, it was just kind of like, that's just nothing. So maybe they don't want to pay for it or whatever else, or how many viewers they have to pay more. That's something that's out of our, like, that we don't know about when production comes. But
yeah. Would have liked something to get us pumped for the elimination, something to get us pumped for the challenge.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's a good start with CBS versus MTV. What would MTV have on there over CBS? Because CBS is new to this. I don't know. It's still interesting to see how far this is gonna go. I am gonna try to pay attention more to like what viewers they are getting viewership wise, because the challenge is a great thing. It really is. It's like
we love it. We've been watching number 20 years.
Yeah, number 5. It's the 5th major sport. And now they're just adding more and more people. So let's see if CBS can run with it. But it's up to CBS, honestly, right now to make this even bigger to everybody. And it's up to us now just to make it bigger in the social media world.
Hey.
Yeah. And I think we're doing a good job.
Follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, on Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube, we're Final Alliance Podcast. Please subscribe. Comment, love to hear what you have to say, and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we're Final Alliance Podcast.
That's right. Listen to Sarah. Exercise is a good thing. It's the hottest take that we're going to see.
Good.
Yeah, it's good for us. Yeah.
Give it a whirl.
We'll see you guys next week.
I have a master's degree.
All right.